Thank you. Representative Luttrell, you are now
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. In your opening statements, you talked about, both of you spoke about the successes of the VA and with the PACT Act and other spaces that the VA operates, and that's amazing. But my concern is the leadership and the budgetary asks and requests. Mr. Rosendale brought up a good point to you, Mr. Jacobs. He asked for a specific number, which you handed the football off to Ms. Graham, and Ms. Graham was could not answer that question, and then you started to answer the question with a percentage. So you threw a percentage back at us, which means there's a number in there that lives and breathes, and you both should know the number, and you shouldn't show up in front of Congress and say, I don't have that information. And then Mr. Elmenhall, you passed it off to Ms. Murray over there about the record-keeping capabilities of the VA or the lack thereof. And I'm assuming for the past 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you've been doing the budgeting system the exact same way, since there is obviously a lack of a digital footprint that handles that problem set. Is that correct, Ms. Murray?
There are systems, but
they don't work, obviously.
They were not built with the complexity of our current appropriation picture in mind.
So Congress has allotted money to the VA to build a system that's inappropriate for the system itself.
We are in the process of transforming into a newer system.
Kind of like the electronic healthcare records that does not work after the billions of dollars that we're spending on it. So my question is, since we have, and as the chairman spoke, and I'm assuming every other member and every veteran sitting on this side of the aisle, plus the ones that are over there, we want an answer of why this is happening. I don't want the BS that you have to throw out because we're sitting in a committee, because we're going to meet after this. I want to know why, because we have to answer to our veterans. And if there's any group that will clack off in a hurry and show up here to ask why this is happening, because we get beat up for what you all say, and then we try to give the answers to the problem sets that are created somehow. But the answers that we're getting in here today don't give us the ability to do that. So please, somebody tell me why this is happening.
Congressman, so let me just respond to the answer that I did not answer appropriately.
Please, that'd be great.
So, it's approximately $1 billion that we were under at the end of August. It takes us, like the VHA system, we don't have day-to-day reporting on the obligations. So we're also in the process of updating our financial.
That system can't do a projection for us before you show up, Ms. Murray? I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
If Mr. Murray was here, I'd be yelling at him. Ms. Duke, I apologize, but put that on the record somewhere. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies, ma'am.
No worries. So your question is about whether our system does the projections?
Yes.
The system is the accounting system that shows the status of funds on a day-to-day basis.
But you can't do an annual projection of previous years to say, hey, we're going to be plus or minus?
We have additional systems that we use for those projections.
So we didn't use it?
No, we did, and that was what informed our requests at the time that we...
The request was incorrect, obviously, because we turned out we didn't need it. Yeah? Somebody?
If I could, Congressman.
Sure.
You asked why we're here, and I'm going to give you the reasons. The first and most
I
important...
know. I got them right here in front of me.
The first and most important reason is we are enacting new policy. We've made every decision possible to accelerate eligibility for VA healthcare. And we did not know what that picture would look like. And ultimately, what we did was actually enroll more veterans than we expected. And we saw reliance on our system go up on average for every single veteran because we were doing all this outreach and trying to build trust. We made a prediction. That prediction ended up being very close to ultimately what we had to spend. The second reason is, just like every other agency, I think this was the motivation behind the agreement. The Fiscal Responsibility Act had us tighter than we would have expected in FY25, meaning the fluctuation of about 3-4% on which about $6.6 billion represents just over 4%, really matters. It puts us up against the line on what the funding we have available. And so the combination of the Fiscal Responsibility Act and not knowing exactly how much we would grow and how much demand would grow is the reason we are here. Nonetheless, we do have to work on budget formulation. We have to implement this new system that gives us more real-time data. Veterans deserve that. Congress deserves better information about how our budget is going to look, and that I definitely concede.
Ms. Duke, do we have, or Mr. Ellenhall, do we have a projection of when that system will be activated? And I'm running out of time, so throw it at me. I'm ready.
We will start transitioning VHA this coming fiscal year.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you. Representative Sheffield